Welcome to Second Glance. My name is Hugo. I'm one of the pastors here at Mission View Church, and I'm joined by some of our team. Todd LePage, one of our elders. Hey, Todd.
Hi.
And David Donaldson. He is our high school pastor.
Hey, Hugo.
What's up? Oh, boy. We are about halfway through, or now more than halfway through, a short series this summer on the Psalms. We've looked at Psalm 8, 23, and this past week, Psalm 103. And oh boy, so profound and like theologically rich, right? We see all these benefits of what we get in response to like who everything God is.
Yeah.
Which I don't know about you. Like, do you guys ever feel like we're on the, like, are we giving God, like we can never match his generosity. We can never match his magnitude. And yet he lavishes like so much. Does that ever make you feel so small? That's how I felt when I was reading this and preaching it this past weekend.
Yeah, I think that's a fair question. Like, who am I to be blessing God, right? Mm-hmm. But in a way, like when you're blessing God, you're in a way imaging God. You are the image of God. So in the way he blesses you, he's calling you to be like him in that way, where you bless him, right? It's this relationship, this give and take. Although I would probably say it's something akin to like your daughter drawing you like a beautiful painting. It's like, it's not Leonardo da Vinci level, but it blesses you, doesn't it?
Oh, in all fairness, it's garbage. You know, like just real talk. Like you're looking at like, oh, what is
Lucia,
it?
Don't listen to this.
It's a cucumber. No, it's a giraffe. You know? Yeah. But the sentiment, I think I said something to that effect of like my little girl historically has always wanted to call me daddy, and up until very recently has wanted to call me dad. I have not given her the green light yet to move forward with just dad. I don't think my heart is ready for that.
Yeah.
But the trust, the respect, the affection that bestows, the art, and her art's beautiful, by the way. It's hypothetically. But I think that's how we bless the Lord, with how we think about him, how we talk about him, how we talk to him, how we know him, but also how we make him known, and like how we use our words. That matters.
One of the things I enjoyed doing in my devotionals, just reading books on the attributes of God, a chapter at a time, and praying over that.
Yeah.
J.I. Packer, Knowing God.
So good.
A.W. Tozer, Knowledge of the Holy, and A.W. Pink, The Attributes of God.
Wow. Yeah. Some of the brightest minds.
Yeah. I mean, they're I'm showing my age, I guess, but they're the old school.
You're speaking my language. Like, those are three of some of my favorites.
Yeah.
'Cause it's so clear, and fairly simple and easy to understand.
They're usually like 3 or 4 pages, and just a good 5-minute read and source of prayer and praise.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's how Psalm 103 starts, with this kind of call to action, like deep down to your core, bless the Lord, O my soul, and then this imperative to forget not his benefits. And I think then later on, King David uses his own people's history, linking it back to the Exodus, the Old Testament, and how God provides, and yet they still sin against him. And he speaks about his anger, but how he doesn't rest in his anger. He's quick to forgive and slow to anger. But I'm thinking through that. How do we worship a God that we can't see, we can't interact with, right? Like, they had the benefit, at least in part. I'm a little, is it okay to say I'm a little jealous? Like, they saw the pillar of fire by night. They saw the pillar of the cloud by day. They experienced the 10 plagues. And what stops my selfish jealousy of like, I wish I could have been there to see that, is they saw it and they still had the nerve to disobey him.
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't generations had gone by. This was hundreds of thousands or more people all collectively decided, Moses is taking too long. Let's build a golden cow and bow to it and say to it, "You're the God who redeemed us."
Right. I mean, it just goes to show, like, I've heard, like, you see those apologetical arguments on YouTube of like, well, if God were to show up right here in front of me, then I would believe. But actually you wouldn't, because it goes to show in the story of the Exodus, they're witnessing miracles, one after another, sea splitting open, escaping slavery from like the most oppressive empire that's ever been around. And yet they just don't believe. Right. So miracles don't equal a relationship with God.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the point I was hoping to convey, and it's kind of we've woven in between the lines of how our worship, at least modern worship, and Matt's talked about this before, how there's a common theme in contemporary or like current worship that's a little too selfish, a little too self-centered, of like, I want to see the miracle, I want to experience your presence, me. If we're not careful, it almost sounds like a toddler at preschool that's just like, gimme. And when our worship should be holy, holy, holy.
Right.
Is the Lord God Almighty.
Yeah.
And there's a place for, and the Psalms paint that picture of lament, of praise, like how to pray through offerings for Sabbath. Like it kind of walks them through like all of life. But if we're not careful, the songs that we sing, and music in itself is such a powerful thing. We had some fun with that on Sunday, just kind of looking at like some popular songs and popular worship songs too, and how those melodies, they just kind of hook inside your brain and down to your soul. Like I remember where I was listening to some of these songs back in high school, or even younger, or even going through seasons of great hurt or tragedy and loss, and particular theological, like just masterpieces that are hard to sing, but it's okay to sing. It's okay to pray that way. It's okay. And I think that's what probably drives my fascination the most with King David's writing of the Psalms, where it's equal parts joy and gratitude on the mountaintop. And then it's like lament and sorrow, and my bones are dry down in the valley.
Yeah, and I think that's really the wisdom of the Psalms, is that they're with us through all of the normal ordinaries of life and the highs and the lows. Whereas like you're saying, like, I'm kind of jealous, and I think we all kind of have that feeling. I'm jealous of like wanting to interact with God in this like miraculous Old Testament Israel way. But the wisdom of the Psalms is that actually he's like with us in every single moment. And the way we are interacting with him is through his word in these Psalms. And that's actually the healthy way to do it, is a day by day submission and blessing to him.
And that kind of speaks to like the length of it too, right? Like, because the chosen people, that was just, a few centuries here, right. Old. But the goal was always like every tribe, every nation, every tongue, like Gentiles included. And so you fast forward to the time of Jesus, you fast forward to the cross, the resurrection, and now it's like go and make disciples. Disciples who've never heard of these Psalms, or who don't know the tradition, they don't speak the same language, and yet they're all welcome into the household of God by faith. That is that's so encouraging.
That's really encouraging.
Yeah.
You talk about the emotional connection with songs. I really appreciate the theology that comes through some of the songs too. And if you combine the theology with the emotion, just how it reinforces and strengthens our faith.
Yeah. Any favorite tunes as of late? Any current worship hits?
This is so out of left field, but I'm gonna take your question and like change it a little bit.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about.
I'll learn to ask better questions.
I was thinking about how I was like growing up, and I just loved like West Coast rap for some reason. Like I know all the NWA and
Let's Go,
Tupac, and like I just would like I can like, if it were to come on right now, like if it was in my car, I would rap every single lyric with passion.
Yeah.
Right. Do I do the same in public for God when it comes to worship songs though? I think that's something in like my millennial generation that we struggle with.
Yeah.
Like we know all the T Swift lyrics, but we're too afraid to lift our hand during worship in a congregational setting.
Hey, you're getting a little too personal here for,
Okay.
for some of us. Right? Like, no, that's the point. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going. That's exactly what we need to hear.
Right.
Yeah, that's such a careful rebuke,
Right.
but it's healthy. Like we need that correction. We need. Last week it was Psalm 23. We need the rod and the staff.
Mm-hmm.
We need them both. Because sheep, they're cute, but they wander, and they're helpless.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. How often are we referred to as his flock of sheep?
Yeah.
Yes, we are his prized possession. We are his people. We are his. Like we're no other animal or mammal or part of his creation is like us. Like humanity is like this beautiful picture of like God's goodness and how he loves us. And in that love, he also has the calm and the coolness to like, yeah, but you're also just a bunch of sheep, and you need cared for. And then he meets us in that relationship.
So what would you guys say to me if I'm like a struggling millennial who can, knows all the lyrics to the classic pop songs of the day, but is struggling to authentically worship God in a corporate setting? Maybe not even singing.
Yeah.
Just kind of, and we've all seen, like I have actually been there, like kind of, you look like a soldier and you're just like, I will not show any emotion when the song is on in a church. What would be a word that we could say to them?
Humble yourself. We're not asking anyone to like go try out for American Idol or win an episode of The Voice, or like, we're not seeking like profound artistry, although I do appreciate the art and the creativity behind the worship music scene or what we accomplish creatively. But we're not singing for ourselves. If anything, like we're as a church, like we are compelled to sing to each other. Like we can encourage one another by singing songs of praise and encouragement to one another. That we get to pray together and for one another, but we also should be singing to each other. We're sitting in the green room. It's a little modified right now. And in between services on Sunday, many of the band and the creative team, we gather at and here in between services, and we'll just sing and we'll pray and we'll prepare our hearts for one more service. We don't do that for anyone else. We kind of do it for ourselves. And oftentimes I'll challenge the team, like, hey, make it weird and look at someone while you're singing these songs. Like make eye contact and don't blink.
Yeah.
And we'll do it, and we'll try it as like this weird exercise of like, Lord, I lift your name, and as I'm just like staring at your face.
It's epic.
It's weird. But like when we're on stage, and I see this too from just my perspective as a worship leader for a long time, where there's always a few guys in the room who are their arms are crossed, and they're there because their wives kind of dragged them there maybe, or they're just there to check the box. And I get it. Like I would rather you be at church than not be at church. So all like, good job. Like step one is accomplished. I'm glad you're here. But I'm going to make it a little weird, and I'm going to look at you and I'm going to sing to you by faith, knowing that the work of the Holy Spirit is going to start scratching at your heart. And at some point, I'm not looking for a raised hand or anything manipulated or manufactured.
Right.
Like, don't do it for me. But I'm not going to give up on people. And that's one of the themes as our worship leaders here at Mission View, we're always trying to convey. Yeah. And it's hard because sometimes it's early. The first service, like, man, that crowd is dead. There's no energy. It's like, God's on the throne. Let's go. That's an altar of praise, not a stage.
Absolutely.
We're going to go and we're going to submit to his holiness. We're going to bless the Lord with everything we have. We're going to make a joyful noise. Yeah. And that steps out of our preferences. We were talking about preferences earlier. And historically, the church over the last like 50 to 100 years has made a lot of choices in terms of the kind of music we play, right?
Right.
And that's come with some baggage over the years.
David's question for the millennials, I think, is the question for the baby boomers too.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And your answer remains the same. I mean, why can't we sing the hymns?
Yeah.
And we can. And I really enjoy the hymns set to new melodies and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think for that generation too, there's a lot, sing a new song, not the same one 1,000 times.
Absolutely.
My first time in church, I had that mentality, like, I will not be singing songs. I'm going for the sermon because that's like what men do. They listen to sermons. Right. They don't sing songs. Yeah. No, absolutely not. And so my first time in church, I stand like a soldier through the first 3 songs, like miserable, can't wait till this is over. And then you can sit down and the entire sermon is about the genuine worship through song of a believer. and so I'm like, felt very convicted, stood up on that fourth song and was like crying, like, I love you, Jesus.
Yeah.
like tearful. And now that's like my favorite part of Sunday is just like, you sometimes you won't catch me raising a hand, but I'll usually be crying in some capacity, tears. Yeah.
Yeah, there is no like preferred method
Right.
that we're trying to subscribe to. We'll see hands up. We'll see there's a Christian comedian who makes a joke of like there's like the holding the baby. There's a hole in
got, like,
the
the
TV,
widescreen
bigger, like, touchdown. Like like however you feel led, obviously
Right.
with decency and order, and like there's an approach to that. But oftentimes, like if it's just me, like I'll do it. Also, I'll have my arms crossed. It's more of like a stress thing. Like I just kind of need to be like, just kind of pause and be still. It's a way for me to like experience stillness. But I also know that on the outside it looks like just a grumpy old man. So I try not to do it very often.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think part of the beauty of Psalm 103 is like it lists 20 or more reasons, these attributes, these benefits of knowing a God who is knowable. We're without reason. Like we're without excuse, right? We have every reason. We are without excuse.
Right.
Like we should be able to we can't help but to sing.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when I get home, I can't help but to hear my children laugh or complain or whatever they have for me that day. Like 'cause it's the pendulum swings far and wide. I can't wait to see my wife. I can't wait to hear how her day was. Like those are the things I lean into because of relationship, and we have that with the Creator of the known world. Like that is the beauty that King David conveys in just like 23 verses. Like, how did he do that? Further evidence for like divine inspiration. Like I think it was obviously part David, part Spirit. But yeah, any closing thoughts on as we wrap up next week, our last week in worship? How do we do? We did good.
I think just as much as we are singing to one another in that corporate environment, we're singing to the Lord.
Yeah.
And that's what the psalm is all about. Bless the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, in those moments, it can just really be a you and him thing as well. Yeah. But I love that corporate aspect as well. It's so important for us to do that together.
Yeah. There's a balance.
Yeah.
I think some songs are best sung like even alone. Like I prefer to take some like this was just for me.
Yeah. Right.
And others like I can't wait to sing this at home. Like I can already see it in my living room with my kids.
with my wife. Yeah.
That's and cool. Others like, man, this is a mission view. Like sometimes you just hear a song and it's like, I can't wait to hear them sing this song.
Wow.
And so there's more than one way. There's so many instruments and how many chord shapes, and like I love the creativity behind it. I made the statement on Sunday, like if you don't like singing, you're really gonna hate heaven. like, and obviously I think we're gonna do more than just sing in heaven. Like there's things to do, and
right.
But yeah, we can't escape the just the goodness of what worship is. Beyond just music, I think we worship through lifestyle, through so much more. But obviously, to not forsake the gathering and the singing, it's such a beautiful part of our history and our future.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Amen.
Historically, worship has been one of the most divisive issues in the church.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful at Mission View I have not sensed that.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some element out there, but I don't think publicly.
I think you're right.
I think people are mature.
Yeah, we had it all from. No, I think you're absolutely spot on. There are things that we wrestle with. I can tell, like our worship leaders deal with. It's uncomfortable to get up there. They're anxious or insecure, and there's all the human side of it. But we step into it every single week. We have such a great variety of musicians and worship leaders that are all on the same page. Like we want to, bless the Lord.
And a depth of worship leaders too. We're thankful for.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do with that. Although like we're praying through like planning churches, and before long, like who knows, like some of our worship leaders are writing their own songs. We're singing handwritten songs from our own people for our people.
Yeah.
The future's bright when it comes to like worship at Mission View. It's really exciting.
Very exciting.
Yeah. Guys, thanks for your time.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with the closing part of the Psalms series, and then we'll jump into what we have next later. Thank you.
Happy summer.